Users are used on Linux to control the access to the system files, directories, devices, and peripherals. Groups are a collection of users. They are used to simplify access control and permissions management. A user always has a primary group and also could be part of one or more secondary groups. And what is the difference between primary and secondary groups? When a user creates a new file, the group assigned to that file will be the primary group. Let's see how to control the access to a specific directory. First, we set the ownership of the directory. Then we give write permissions for the user and read permissions for the group. And finally, we remove all permissions for the rest of the users. And now, a user named DevOps will have write permissions for directory named data. All users that belong to the editors group will have read permissions, and the rest of the users will not have access to this directory. But where are the user accounts stored? User account information is stored in the etc password file. This information includes the account name, X represents the account password, the user ID, the primary group ID, some free text description of the user, the user's home directory location, and the user's default shell. Let's add this user to the system. Long time ago, password hashes were stored in the etc password file. This file was world readable, allowing inquisitive users to pull password hashes for other accounts and run them through password cracking utilities. Eventually, the password hashes were moved to a file called etc shadow, which is readable only by root. That is why today the password field in the password file is marked with an X. The shadow file contains the username and the password hash. But what does password hashing do? Well, it's a cryptographic method which takes the password, mixes it with a random string called salt, and then returns an output with fixed length. The idea behind using hash values is that the system can verify if the entered password is correct. But the password itself is never stored in the system. Only the hash is stored, and reversing from the hashed value to the real password should not be possible. And lastly, some parameters that define the password status and requirements are stored in the shadow file. Now, let's set a password for our user. Similarly to the password file, the etc group file contains information about the groups. First, the group name is specified. Then comes the group password, which also has a shadow file, but is actually rarely used. Then comes the group ID. And lastly, a comma-separated list of the users that belong to the group is specified. Let's add a group to our system, and then add an user to this group. How to elevate permissions? Sudo stands for superuser do, and is the master key to your high privilege admin tasks. To ensure that your user or group has this privilege, they must be added to the etc sudoers file. The sudoers file requires root privileges in order to be edited. The sudo privilege is given on a per user or per group basis. There is a predefined group called sudo, which grants superuser permissions. Let's add our user to the sudo group. Now we can use the sudo command followed by the intended command to elevate the user permissions. And that's it.